Hollie Gazzard. Hollie Gazzard was born on the 24th of July 1993. Hollie was born premature. Her father stated that they bought doll's clothes for her to wear until she grew big enough for newborn clothes. Hollie was described as having been energetic, vibrant, vivacious, independent, social, and easy to like. Hollie met 22-year-old Asha Maslin in January 2013 at a local nightclub. Initially, Hollie seemed happy in the relationship, with Maslin described by her family as a genuine guy, polite and respectful. It wasn't long before Maslin's controlling and violent behavior began to surface. Starting with constant text messages and phone calls to Hollie's mobile, which escalated to drunken, abusive and threatening behavior, often in the presence of Hollie's family. Hollie had always dreamed of traveling and becoming a hairdresser. When an opportunity arose to join a cruise, Hollie was really excited. 1 week into the cruise, Hollie was calling home asking her dad to arrange flights to bring her home. Hollie's father said, "We believe that he bombarded her with telephone calls, text messages and FaceTimes. That really got into her physique and made her feel uncomfortable in terms of being away from home so far and persuaded her, I think, to come home. He was like that." Now, in order to pursue her hairdressing career, Hollie went to London. Maslin followed her there without her knowledge. On one occasion, Hollie was at the Notting Hill Carnival with Maslin, his friends and family. In the crowds, they became separated. Hollie took Maslin's relative to the toilet. Maslin didn't like this. He wanted to know where she had been, who she'd been with, and why it took this much time. Maslin hit Hollie and pushed her to the ground. It was after this incident that Hollie decided that she'd had enough. She left Maslin and London that night. Once back in Gloucester, Hollie was described to have been her old self again. Bubbly character, vivacious, and going out. Again, Maslin followed Hollie back. They resumed their relationship, but friends believed that Hollie was afraid of what Maslin might do if she didn't resume the relationship with him. Maslin would turn up to places that Hollie was at. For example, one of Hollie's friends described how Maslin had turned up to a nightclub that Hollie had gone to with her friends. It was as though he didn't want her to be out drinking, like he wanted her to be home and for him to be in control. Maslin was so possessive and incessant that Hollie had to turn up her phone at night. When drunk, Maslin would even knock on the front door of Hollie's family home in the middle of the night. Maslin would follow Hollie and loiter around her place of work and home. One of Hollie's managers became concerned about Maslin's behavior and even started doing her own background checks online. Over time, Maslin's behavior became more and more threatening, aggressive, and controlling. By the end of 2013, after almost 12 months of physical and emotional abuse, Hollie realized that Maslin's controlling and violent behavior was not going to go away. Maslin had threatened to beat her up and of acid attacks. Friends and family described how Hollie had tried to break off the relationship multiple times, but Maslin just wouldn't take no for an answer. He'd stalk Hollie for months. Finally, on Valentine's Day 2014, Hollie ended the relationship. Maslin was furious. He shouted at her, and he said she had a cold heart. Maslin stole money from Hollie's bank account and sent her incessant messages saying things like he was going to smash her house up if she didn't call him. "This bat is going to hit your dad's head. I don't want to get fucking violent as I'll take it too far," he said. It was following these threats that Hollie went to the police and gave a statement. Hollie had even considered getting a restraining order against Maslin. It was only after this that her family discovered the truth of what Hollie had endured over the past year. Neither Hollie nor her family had realized that her decision to finish with possessive Maslin would send him into this unthinkable rage. In the afternoon of 18th of February 2014, Maslin was seen on CCTV going to cash converters and selling a DVD player for £5. He was then filmed in Wilkinson's buying a 12-inch carving knife for £3. Maslin approached the salon where Hollie worked. One of Hollie's colleagues saw him. She signaled Hollie that her phone was out and she was ready to call the police. In broad daylight, whilst Hollie completed the finishing touches on her client, Maslin punched Hollie in the face and then repeatedly stabbed her 14 times in front of colleagues and clients at the salon. Tragically, Hollie died 2 hours later due to extreme blood loss. Maslin went home to change his blood-stained clothes and then went on the run. He discarded the knife at a nearby building site. Maslin went to London. He went on a drink, cocaine and crack cocaine binge. 8 hours after the murder, police located Maslin and arrested him. According to officers, Maslin showed no remorse throughout the proceedings. In the 6 years before Hollie's death, Maslin was arrested 23 times for a variety of offences, including domestic violence, criminal damage, possession of Class A drugs, and theft. He was also involved in 24 violent incidents, 3 involving Hollie, 12 involving one former partner, 2 involving another ex, 3 involving his mother, and 4 against other unconnected people. During the court hearing, the judge described Hollie's death as a merciless killing and sentenced Maslin to life in prison with a minimum of 22 years to be served. Hollie's favourite quote is said to be, "Have hope, be strong, laugh loud, play hard. Live in the moment, smile often, dream big, remember you are loved, and never, ever give up."